Okay, so we're diving into this court filing about Trump and election interference and all that.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack.
It is.
But that's what we do here, right? So
Definitely.
this isn't just like another day, another headline.
Yeah.
This is
Right.
Special Counsel Jack Smith actually trying to prove that Trump broke the law
Yeah.
when he tried to overturn the 2020 election.
Yeah. And not just,
Yeah.
a little oopsie.
Right.
This is serious stuff.
We're going deeper than the headlines with this one. We're actually going into this filing to figure out what's really going on.
Yeah, what's the meat of it?
And the main thing they're saying is that Trump knew he lost,
Oh, wow.
but he kept pushing all this election fraud stuff just so he could stay in power.
So they're saying this was a pattern, a scheme.
Right.
Like this wasn't just like a one-off.
It sounds almost like a coup.
It really does.
I mean, when you put it that way.
Yeah.
And there's this one part in here that really stuck with me. It says that Trump told his family, and I quote, "It doesn't matter if you won or lost the election. You still have to fight like hell."
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
I mean, that's huge, right? Because it gets at like his whole mindset. Right. Did he actually believe all this stuff about fraud, or was this like a strategy,
Right. Was it calculated?
Yeah, because if he knew he lost and then lied about it just to stay in office, that could be like intent to defraud the U.S.,
Right.
which is a whole other can of worms.
Well, so this is more than just being a sore loser.
Oh, way more.
This is like next level.
This is about the peaceful transfer of power,
Wow.
like the foundation of democracy stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big stuff.
This is what I don't. On the one hand, you have this whole stolen election thing.
Right.
But then the filing also says that Trump privately called Sidney Powell's election fraud stuff crazy.
Yeah.
Like he literally said that.
Wild, isn't it?
So is it, did he believe it or is he just using it?
That's the million-dollar question, right? That's what makes this whole thing so intriguing. I mean, it all comes down to intent.
Right.
Because he's saying one thing in public about a stolen election.
Right.
But then in private, who knows what was going on?
Do we know if like anyone else backed up Powell's claims?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure that'll come out in court.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what evidence they have.
It's kind of scary though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because these weren't just like empty words. No, they weren't.
They had real consequences.
And the filing actually connects those claims to January 6th.
Yeah. It says the defendant also knew that he had only one last hope to prevent Biden's certification as president: the large and angry crowd standing in front of him.
Wow.
I get chills every time I read that line.
That's about as close to a smoking gun as you're going to get.
Right.
I mean, it basically says that Trump knew what he was doing when he riled up that crowd.
Wow. So we went from like this whole scheme to overturn the election thing.
Right.
To Trump maybe not even believing his own lawyers.
Yeah.
And then January 6th.
It's a lot.
It is a lot to process.
It really is.
What's the biggest takeaway for you?
I think it all boils down to this. Was Trump acting as a private citizen or as the president?
Right, because that's what the Supreme Court thing was about.
Exactly. Like he had immunity as president.
Yeah, and that's what makes this whole thing so tricky. They
Yeah.
have to prove that what he did was like way beyond what a normal president would do.
So his own actions are what could get him in trouble.
Exactly. And that quote about the crowd on January 6th,
Yeah.
that's going to be a big part of their argument.
So it's all about like what was going on in his head.
Yeah, they need to figure out if he really believed there was fraud or if this was all just to stay in power.
Man, when you lay it out like that,
It's a wild story, right?
it's kind of terrifying.
It really is, because this isn't just about one election. This
Right.
is about the future of democracy and stuff.
It makes you think about how we can prevent something like this from happening again.
Absolutely. It's a good reminder to stay informed and engaged.
Well said. Well, guys, we've gone through a lot today.
We have.
Make sure you check out the show notes for links to all the stuff we talked about.
Yes, please do your own research, too.
Always.
Yeah?
And until next time, keep diving deep.